Good morning, church. Today I get the opportunity to wrap up our study on Abraham, the father of faith. In the past few weeks, we've listened to Mike and Kalia share their thoughts on this famous character in the Bible. Among other things, they touched on the fact that he was called by God, that he was given hope through God's promises, that he always remembered God despite his struggles, and that he had a blind faith in God. Today, I'd like to use this opportunity that I have right now to remind us of some truths that tie in with what they've already shared. And to also use this to encourage us to continue to lean on God as we grow in our faith walk. First, I'd like to remind us that Abraham was a man like us. So often we hold the strong biblical characters we grew up with in such high regard that we forget that they were humans filled with imperfections and failures. Just like us, for instance, Abraham acted out of fear to protect himself by lying. Genesis 12:10 recounted how, out of fear of what the Egyptians will do to him, he concocted a half lie that Sarah was his sister and not his wife. And interestingly, from this, he also got a lot of gifts, even though he lied. Not once, but twice. Again, just like us, he listened and acted on wrong counsels. In Genesis 16, he actually agreed with Sarah to sleep with her servant for the purpose of having a child. And later in the same chapter, he also allowed Sarah to send the same servant away. And for a man who is known as the father of faith, he did doubt God. He even laughed in God's face. Genesis 17:17 says, Abraham bowed down to the ground, but he laughed to himself in disbelief. How could I become a father at the age of 100? But Abraham's story, just like many in the Bible, also reminds us of God's faithfulness. God knows we will make the mistakes, so many of them. But God being God, He will still honor His words. His love for us is as strong as we are fragile. We can use Abraham as a reminder that God gives us blessings even when we make these mistakes. What man has meant for evil, God can still use for good. Finally, I'd like to remind us that God Himself is the one that helps build our faith. John 15:5 says, without Him, we can do nothing. Our faith walk starts and ends with Him. So I want to encourage us to continue to learn to lean.
Amen. Well done.